Project Excel. They work with the Anti-Gang Task Force in Suffolk County is Valerie Dracos. Also to talk about what's being done in Nassau County to combat gangs is Legislator Kevan Abrahams. And then from the Family and Children's Association, Valerie McFadden. Valerie is a community liaison for gang intervention in the communities of Uniondale, Roosevelt, and Hempstead. Welcome to you all. Thank you for coming in. This is a very serious problem. Valerie, how serious is the problem on Long Island?
Long Island gangs are growing tremendously.
And quickly.
And very quickly
also.
And very dangerously. Young people are being engaged in activities that are sending them to jail, hospitals, and to the grave.
When did we see the increase? When did it hit us?
I began to see it in 1988.
That far back,
yes.
Huh?
In the local communities and police departments, they began to see it in approximately 93 in the 90s. But we had our first experience in 88 through the PIP program, which is pre and post institutional projects through Family and Children's Association.
All right, we're going to talk about that too. Valerie Dracos is working with the Anti-Gang Task Force in Suffolk. I know the problem is getting equally as bad in Nassau as it is in Suffolk. Suffolk putting together this task force now to combat it. What is Project Excel?
Project Excel is part of the Huntington Youth Bureau system. We are overseen by the town supervisor, Frank Petrone, and the Youth Bureau is made up of 4 specialized projects, being Huntington Drug and Alcohol, Huntington Youth Court, and Project Sanctuary, which deals with runaways. Excel is more of the enrichment and employment education services. And in part of our services, our counselors are out in the streets, out in the communities, and out in the schools, outreaching to kids for our programs.
So it's all about getting kids involved.
Absolutely.
Making them feel good about themselves and keeping them out of trouble.
Absolutely. We hit the kids where they are.
Yeah, and that's the place to go, get them where they are. What has the task force decided to do so far? $750,000 is a nice quick shot to start things off with.
Well, actually, before the task force was even formed, Supervisor Petrone had put together a task force initially to look at different programs that needed to be addressed. One, like you mentioned before, was the graffiti. And that's being addressed right now, and we're looking at different programs that will attack the graffiti and remove, and also utilizing a lot of the programs within the Huntington Youth Bureau system to target the kids who are using the graffiti and then rerouting them into different programs such as Project Excel. And we've had that experience where we've taken somebody who's arrested for graffiti and put them into our mural program. And now constructing murals throughout the town.
Taking the talent and putting it to good use.
Absolutely, to utilize that talent and actually making some kind of a career from that.
That's an interesting way to look at things. Legislator Kevan Abrahams in Nassau County, big problem also, gangs.
Very much.
And you've taken this is a project you've taken to heart now to try to combat.
Yes, I have. It's been an issue, definitely throughout all our communities. And it's so easy to pinpoint my district as being the only area, especially with the amount of incidents that we had in that area.
And your district being Hempstead.
Being Hempstead and Uniondale and Roosevelt. But it's something that's going on from Long Beach all the way up to Manhasset and Great Neck. And we're seeing it more and more. And I think right now, a few years ago, we probably wouldn't be at this stage, at this point in time, where we'll actually be able to sit down and talk about it.
Well, I think a few years ago, police kind of thought they had a hand on it. They thought they were going to be able to stop the spread. But it doesn't look like, it doesn't appear like that happened.
And yeah, that's true. And the other thing is that parents were in denial about their kids being a part of a gang. They thought maybe their kids just had a certain group of friends, a certain group of associates they always talked to and went out with and hang out with. And we're seeing that a lot more parents are being able to accept it and then be able to say, what can I do now and how can I be able to address it? And it only gets done by, awareness and being able to attend informational sessions where they're actually able to know the signs of what their kids look out for.
Do we know how many gangs there are active on Long Island right now? Do we have a count of gang groups?
I think it's actually hard to get an accurate assessment as to the gang groups. There are several groups that are out there that are organized, and then there are also several youth gangs that are not really as organized as the major national gangs that have been organized throughout the country and throughout Long Island. So I think it's hard to get an accurate account as to what is organized and what is unorganized.
But it's safe to say more than 10, more than a dozen, 15, something like that.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. All right, so that's something we really need to work on. Valerie, it's interesting. When talking to my producer about you coming on as a guest, he said one of the things that you run into with some parents is that they think it's okay for their kids to be in a gang.
Well, not necessarily that it's okay, but we've had instances where a lot of our younger youth that we work with that have gotten targeted have been bullied. and have been recruited in that sense so that they feel so intimidated and so unsafe that by joining a gang they have that sense of security, and then the parents on top of that not necessarily talk them away from getting involved with the gangs, but use the gangs as a source of security, a source of affiliation, and as a source of networking. If they are new arrivals into this country, it's a way for them to be able to be secure if they're looking for jobs, if they're looking for some kind of employment and affiliation within their community.
So there's a little bit of a support system there then.
Absolutely,
for joining a gang. Valerie, do you see that as well?
Yes, the gang is seen as a family. You know, some young people are being raised by grandparents. There are many family issues and social issues that are affecting our families, and our parents are out working more hours, working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to go to school, single-parent homes. Illness has affected our homes, incarceration of parents, so they're looking for that family, that support, that protection. You know, it's really a misconception that the gangs offer that, because then you have to give them something in turn for what they're giving you, and oftentimes it's not a good turnout, and young people find that out a little too late.
And the initiation can often be violent.
Very.
All right, we're going to take a short break now. The rise of gangs and gang violence on Long Island, what's being done to stop it? That's the focus of this edition of At Issue. We'll be right back.
We have to find out a way to stop the gangs. It has to be a way.
As you would think, in this very wealthy county, this very powerful place, this pristine area to live in, you say, why are gangs here? And the reason for that is plain and simple. It's the trend of the times.
News 12 Long Island is brought